Welcome back to another episode of Strong Talk. It's me again, Coach John, and today I'm wearing a white shirt, and that is because I'm trying to convince you that maybe I can bathe or that I'm not an AI generated program. You decide which one it is. I hope you don't pick the worst of the two, and I'm not sure which one that is. So today we're going to be talking about mindset and motivation. It's a word that kind of gets thrown around a lot, and people are like, oh, I have to get motivated to do this. I'm motivated to do that, and I don't have the right mindset or that. Lots of shitty excuses. So we're going to take a look at them today. So let's start with, what is the best way to get motivated? And really, we have to kind of take a look at what is motivation. Motivation is this kind of emotion where you get this huge urge to take action and, really follow through on your feelings and whatever impulse takes you at the moment. But the best way to actually get motivation is actually to take action. So you reverse engineer from there. I want to take action, I need motivation. It's actually the other way around. You take action, and by taking action, small steps, anything like that, that's how you get motivated. Like, let's say you wanted to lose weight. So you say, okay, what is the lowest hanging fruit that I can do? I can pick. Let me go for a walk. So after work, you walk with your shoes and whatnot, and you go for a walk around the savannah. You don't have to walk the whole savannah. You walk half, or walk a third and walk back to your car. That's a big win. And now, because you've got a win, you're motivated to do it again. Maybe in 2 days, maybe the next day. But basically, you're going to create momentum, and that's how you get motivated. So that's what motivation is. So it's not motivation comes first and then action. It's action, then motivation. Another part that a lot of people like to talk about with motivation, and I think is actually more important than motivation, is dedication. So you have to have a really strong why as to why you're doing things. Really good reason. So let's say, again, I'm going to use the losing weight example. Let's say you wanted to lose weight, and the reason for that is none of your clothes fit. You don't like what you see in the mirror. You're disgusted by yourself, and you're just like, wow, I'm really upset, and I've never been this big. So you set a goal, and you have to dedicate yourself to that. And the reason dedication is so important is on the days that you are not feeling to, you still do it anyway, because you're so dead set, so dedicated to attaining this goal. You do it regardless of how you feel. You become unconditional, and that's really how you get long-term results. So I'll give an example. When I have to go and deadlift heavy, do you think I want to do that? Hell fucking no. You know anybody who's like you? Yes, I will voluntarily pick up 500 pounds multiple times and feel like my spine is gonna fly out my ass. No, but I do it anyway because I am dedicated to, one, getting stronger, and two, to actually also having a strong back. I have 2 herniated discs in my lumbar spine. So if I don't do these exercises, if I don't stay strong, I will be confronted with excruciating and debilitating pain. So for me, it's more of a I have to than I want to, which is again how I became unconditional with getting deadlifts in and keeping myself healthy and strong. So that kind of leads us right into our next topic, which is actually the first part that I talked about in the mindset and motivation, is mindset. And why does your mindset matter? Your mindset is extremely important. If you don't think that you can do something, if you are in a bad headspace, let's say you have some very self-limiting beliefs and you're like, oh, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, or it's not the right time, or you're just playing a victim mindset where you are always saying that something that you have no control over is determining how your life is going. I'll give an example. Someone give you a bad drive. A man cut you off. You have plenty traffic. Your boss gonna rinse out your ears. What are you in control of? You can't control the traffic. You can't control how your boss is going to react. You can't control the cackahole who give you a bad drive. But you can control how you react. You can also control what time you wake up. If you know you're mashing that snooze button for at least 20 minutes, and you could have been to work early instead of late and not have to suffer the, why are you late again? Why are you always this way? Basically the facsimile of your parents at work, could dodge that completely, then the responsibility is on you. Episode 2 is about self-responsibility, and kind of this is too. So yeah, the mindset, coming back to it and why it matters, is having the right mindset. If you always play in this victim role, then you are relinquishing control. If you take a more I am in control mindset, what is the opposite of victim? You can tell me in the comments below. What's the opposite of victim? What's a good word? Do you have a victim mindset? But the opposite is, I guess, what I like to call the conqueror mindset. It's either the conqueror or the conquered. And if you say, okay, cool, well, I'm not taking that shit. Cool, if this man on a bad drive me, no big deal. I'm not gonna get bent out of shape. There's traffic, so what? I'll just reach late, it's not a big deal. Maybe I'll wake up earlier. If my boss rinses out my ears, that's alright. I'm still gonna do a good job. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. You see how different that now sounds? Instead of, oh, woe is me, this sucks balls. And now it's more just like, water off a duck's back, let's go. Be like a kobo. No matter which way the wind is blowing, they're still flying. So another thing that also matters with mindset is that your mindset determines your habits, and your habits determine your outcome. So I'll say that again. Your mindset determines your habits, and your habits determine the outcome. So let's break it down. Let's reverse engineer. What is the outcome? Let's say you wanted to make more money. Actually, let's say, just bring it back to fitness. Let's say you wanted to get stronger. Okay, so that's the goal. What is the habit that I need? What is the absolute number one habit that I need to get stronger? I need to lift often with good technique. Okay, and reverse engineer from there. What mindset do I have to have? I need to have the unerring belief that I can lift, that I can be strong, one, and that I can overcome what weakness I used to have before. The same way in someone who's, let's say again, another example, someone who's trying to lose weight, someone who's been big their entire life. I am big and I would like to lose weight. So let's reverse engineer from there. What are the habits? We need to have responsible eating. We need to not give in to urges and impulses like, oh my god, that KFC smells so good, and maybe go home and make some food. Also developing habits like planning ahead and meal prepping. Now you don't need to meal prep everything, just saying. Start out small. But yeah, and then you reverse engineer from there again. And what is the mindset you have to have? I am capable of doing anything I put my mind to. You cannot just be, oh well, this is the way it is. That's just not how life is. It's not the way it is. Life is what you make it. You can't just float through life just getting smashed by whatever comes your way and you're just like, okay, yeah, well, that's it. No, that removes agency from your life. You're not really living, you're just waiting to be buried. So I will actually break this. I'll bring it back to an example I gave in the first episode where I talked about jiu-jitsu a little bit. And something my sensei told me was, where the head goes, the body must follow. Now that's true for everything. If you grab somebody by the head, the body has to follow, right? If you've ever watched any UFC, any judo, if you've ever watched UFC or any kind of martial arts on TV or streaming or whatever, you'll see that these guys are always aiming to control the head. Because again, where the head goes, the body must follow. If you've ever watched like a Muay Thai match, these guys clinch the crown of the head and they'll kind of fling the other person around like a rag doll and then knee them in the head. Well, there's no kneeing in the head here. I mean, life might try to knee in your head, so you have to wrest control from that. But yeah, basically you want to get your mind right. And wherever the mind goes, the body must follow. Where intention goes, energy flows. That's another way of putting it. So you have to make sure you're going about things with the right intention, that sort of thing. So you might think, well, shit, Coach John, I've got a terrible mindset. I think everything happens to me, woe is me, everything is against me, and I'm a bit of a victim. Well, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that think like that. But you are 100% in control of that. So nobody can kind of control that for you. So how do you fix it? I'm going to give you 3 tips that work for me. You have to start with the end in mind. You have to set a goal. What is your end goal? At the start of this journey, you have to look way down. Like if you're starting a journey at the beginning, at the bottom of the mountain, you have to be able to see the summit. And there's too many clouds there. You have to be able to close your eyes and visualize and see the summit. It needs to be that clear to you. You need to be able to smell the air, feel the snow on your feet, proverbial snow. So that's one thing, start with the end in mind. 2 is have something called a guiding star. So a guiding star is, again, you might think, well, what's the difference between that and the end in mind? Well, the guiding star is not just, the goal. It's a thing that guides you when your path gets dark. So that might be a friend. It could be you journaling. It could be a coach. It could be, again, it could be anything. It could be a song, any kind of thing that's going to bring you back on a tough day, and an especially tough day when your journey gets very difficult. It'll bring you back onto the path, and that can take any form. Something that's going to bring you back. It's going to guide you back to your path. And another thing, or the last thing that I like to do, is set short-term and long-term goals. If you only set one goal and one long-term goal, every step along the way, no matter how high up that mountain you get, you're going to feel like a failure because you're always looking up. So let's say you were somebody who was 300 pounds and you wanted to be 150 pounds. That's 150 pounds to lose. That's a lot of weight. And let's say you gave yourself 3 years to do it. If you lost 50 pounds every year, that's fantastic. But if you only cared about losing the 150, the 2 years in between you losing that 150 where you lost the 100 pounds, you'd probably feel like a failure if you didn't celebrate it at all. It is very important to celebrate small wins. And I'll bring it back again to the example with the person getting up in the morning, not pressing snooze and getting to work on time, and not having their boss rinse out their ears like a washing machine. Not pressing the snooze button is a huge win. You're keeping a promise to yourself and saying, hey, I am getting up right now. I've set this intention from the night before or the week before that I will wake up at this time. I'm getting out of bed to prevent 3 things. My boss being a dick. I mean, he might be a dick anyway, but who cares? Traffic's going to be less. And you'll probably be up before the person who's bad driving because they're also in a rush. Most people not bad driving, for bad driving's sake. Unless it's a real cacahole, in which case, and if that's you listening to this, fuck you. But yeah, so if you have a lot of weight to lose, or if you have a very lofty goal, even if it's an income goal, anything like that, not celebrating these small wins along the way is literally a recipe for failure. You're gonna feel like such a loser if you don't celebrate those small wins and stack them up. So like, for me example, when I was fairly heavy, when I was 220 and I wanted to go down, I would set a short-term goal and a long-term goal. So the long-term goal would be my yearly goal, and the short-term goal would be like my monthly goal or even weekly goal. So I aim to lose maybe about a pound a week. And I'd say, okay, so every day I'd weigh and make sure I was on the right path, and I'd measure the averages of the weeks to get against each other. So not just daily, because you can fluctuate about 5 5 to 8 pounds, depending on what you eat. If you slam a set of carbs and eat a whole bunch of salt, you're gonna hold on to water like like someone in the desert.
Oh my god, I need it.
Very similar to that. I mean, of course, without the scathing voice. From day to day and week to week, I'd measure. And that way, I would always see, okay, it's a downward trend. Okay, yesterday, I know I was eating salty food. I had some ramen, whatever, holding on to more water. And that way, I don't get panicked. And I also know when things are going wrong, so I can course correct. So yeah, short-term goals also keep you in line with your long-term goals. Right? So having the right mindset is very important. Believing in yourself that you can do it, and also committing and taking action. That's going to keep you motivated, keep you moving forward, and you'll get there. Don't be in a rush. That is the end of today's episode on mindset and motivation. I will probably visit this again because it is such a wide and vast topic. But yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We'll get deeper later on. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, share with somebody if you think this will help them. And as always, get strong, stay strong, and be ready for anything.